Okay, we're live.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Mos Eisley Cantina. We are your friendly neighborhood roundtable here. You got the Tarp Man here with you and my two buddies there. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen. Welcome to the Mos
Somebody's got the
Eisley
volume on.
Cantina. We are
I'm
your friendly
TMTT.
neighborhood roundtable.
Some of you might already know me
got
in the community.
the Tarp
If so, welcome. And if you're new, welcome also.
Man here with you and
I'm
my two
Grixvold,
buddies there.
and I bid you welcome to our new show called the Mos Eisley Roundtable. We're going to talk about all Star Wars. So,
And we just want to say, generally there is no droids allowed at Mos Eisley, but for this we make a very special exception. HAL 9000 is allowed, and so is R2-D2.
yeah, VIP members.
Whichever Kriegs may be coming through as at this point in time, because it seems to be jumping back and forth between the two.
I'd like to welcome Josie Wells in the chat.
Yeah, Josie.
Hey Josie, how's it going? No audio right now. Oh. Can you hear us now? I presume so, because I was giving feedback earlier.
Yes, definitely let us know if we have audio before we keep talking.
Yeah, well, I presume so.
And it should be noted that one of the people sitting at this round table has not yet seen Rogue One.
I wonder who it is.
I can confidently say it wasn't me.
Definitely isn't me.
All right. No, I did not watch Rogue One yet. As a Star Wars fan, I failed that. But
We should deny you
Eventually.
service. You should be denied service at the Mos Eisley Cantina for that one.
yeah, being kicked out of the cantina, yeah. For rogue behavior.
Ooh, I like that. I see. I like what he did there.
I
see
didn't.
what you did there.
I'll be back in a sec, guys.
All
Sure.
right. So, yes, we kind of request that the Rogue One spoilers be kept to somewhat of a minimum for the benefit of our buddy Kriegsvolk here, who we're going to hold at blaster point and forced to watch the movie as soon as we're off the air.
Does that help?
And should he refuse, he will definitely be force choked. But not by me, because I just don't have those abilities yet. Still waiting for Master Palpatine to finish my training.
So what? You did you really enlist into the Empire?
Well, I thought about it. I mean, the whole idea sounds like a good idea. We should give up our individual freedoms for our own protection, a safe and secure empire. I mean,
with no one to oppose to.
Yes. See, Palpatine's
Why?
thinking ahead. How could I insult him by just going by his name? Our wonderful former senator, High Chancellor Palpatine. I mean, he's got the right idea right there, man. He's going to take care of us. He's going to protect us,
Yeah, and restore quote unquote order.
Yes, all we have to do is give up our individual freedoms and liberties. That's
Sounds similar,
fair.
isn't it? Sounds similar to situations before
That it does.
with
That it
attempts
does.
to control everything.
Which I've tried to explain that to people for a very long time. that that definitely the prequels, but really the whole saga. That's basically what the underlying story is. And I even found a video on YouTube called, I think it was called Star Wars and False Flag Terrorism. It's about the
Right.
prequels. And I showed that to some people. And even they still, oh, I know what Star Wars is about. Yeah, I get it. And then they watch that and they're like, what the hell is this? It's weird. So it was interesting a video that I think I shared with you guys recently where I
Yes.
finally found a video where George Lucas himself comes out and basically says that's what the story is really about. It's about how good people give up their individual freedoms for quote unquote their protection, and that those people who are supposedly protecting them and doing good for them end up turning into dictators and they lose their freedoms.
Under a
And
huge conspiracy,
I find that very
detailed and organized conspiracy to overthrow uh, a a republic that thrived for a long time, and this mysterious wave of darkness coming under the nose of everyone in plain sight.
sounds eerily familiar.
Yeah, I wonder. Hmm.
Where have we heard
Yes.
that before? Well, where
Yes,
have we
have any
seen
idea?
where have we seen that playing out before?
Well,
I just kind of felt a little better hearing George Lucas himself come out and say that that's what he was thinking about when he wrote those movies originally. Kind of made me feel a little less crazy, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, and the Empire. Apparently, I don't know if it's official yet, but it's been inspired by Nazi Germany, correct?
I believe it has everything from the uniforms to the shapes of their vehicles to straight out calling their soldiers stormtroopers. Yeah, there's a
Yes.
lot of Nazi references there within the Empire. The High Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah, especially with their regime too. These totalitarian, to- totalitarian, and an authoritarian kind of
Oh yeah,
political party, which a few can control.
a very select few,
Very.
and a very very strict. I guess what would the word be? Hierarchy within the ranks. Because because you got just Palpatine sitting at the top, and then he has his right hand man. Then there's two or three guys right there under them, and once you get down to the bottom, you
yeah.
have all your little foot soldiers, your stormtroopers that they're
And-
just blindly following orders.
Yeah.
Hi to Paul Panda in the chat, by the way.
Paul Panda, what's up? Josie Wales, what's up?
Mr. Panda, welcome.
Welcome to the party. I didn't know pandas could survive in space, but we will serve them at the Mos Eisley Cantina. We welcome everybody except most droids. Speaking of the Mos Eisley Cantina, Han Solo shot first. There, I said it for the record.
Well, to each his own theory. Well, for that subject, well, it depends about the release and the re-release of the film, of the episode 4.
Ah, yes. They did kind of mess with our heads with that one, didn't they?
Oh yeah. I think that originally Greedo shot first.
See, I'd have to go back and watch it again, and actually, I'd have to watch both versions and slow them down and freeze frame it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going with Krieg's on that one. I think Greedo shot first.
All that matters is Han Solo got the kill shot.
Well, there wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
There wouldn't
of course.
There wouldn't have been the
That's all
story,
that
would there?
matters.
Yeah. I think the result was
That's end of franchise right there.
better.
Not necessarily.
Hey, Chewie, what about these guys?
Yeah.
Pew! The end. There you go.
Quickie Star Wars movie ever.
Oh, that's true, because then they wouldn't have been able to get the ride to the remnants of Alderaan and discover the space station that's not a moon, and
Yeah.
Luke miraculously fire 2 torpedoes into a 2-meter vent without a targeting computer and blow the thing to smithereens after his entire squadron just got blown out of the sky.
Yeah, it's just as easy as Scott's bombing Womprats. Dead easy for Luke.
So he says.
He proved
But
it.
you have to wonder.
Hmm.
I don't know. Was it him or was it the Force?
The Force, which means his father, Darth Vader, tailgating him.
Yeah, that's another thing that bothered me with that. Darth Vader was
he
one of the
knew.
greatest starfighter pilots in the entire
Yeah.
galaxy.
Exactly.
He had target lock on Luke's X-Wing, and Luke was like a farm boy that never had
Any training.
fighter training. Like,
Yeah.
you're telling me that Vader couldn't just take him out when he had him locked? He missed that shot. I don't buy it. But
Yeah. There's a good video about it, talking about the conspiracy of the Skywalker family and the destruction of the Death Star.
yes,
Apparently, Darth Vader was in with the rebels just
Yes,
to
I-
prevent his son being killed, which is why the stormtroopers missed on purpose.
well, it also in that same video goes on to insinuate that there was monetary reasons, because I think in that video they say it was Darth Vader's own construction company won the bid to build the second Death Star.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Oh, I didn't know that Vader holded shares in the company, the construction company.
Apparently he did.
Yeah. And can you imagine the amount of material for the Death Star? That's insane.
I can sort of imagine, because I'm a few chapters into Catalyst, a Rogue One novel, and already it seems like materials to build that thing are coming at a premium. And this is the first Death Star.
Well, they
So,
said,
and I know the second one, I think, was supposed to be bigger and
Yeah, it's definitely
better.
bigger. Yeah, version 2. Yeah.
So he could have
But-
made a killing off of that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the time that the movie were released, but it seems like the material used for ships and all that were not the same. If you compare A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, for some example, because all the ships, even the Death Stars, were whiter. The plating was way lighter than in Empire Strike Back and Return of the Jedi, which is bluish gray, which is the same color as the Death Star as well. So I think that they made plating upgrades all around.
I think the best upgrade they made was they sealed up that 2-meter exhaust port and replaced it with just a wide open gap big enough for the entire Millennium Falcon to fly into. Straight into the reactor core.
Yeah, well, it was under construction.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. Fair enough.
And why am I talking about two different type of planing? Because there's two types of Star Destroyers, which is the Imperial 1 class and the Imperial 2 class.
Care to elaborate on the differences there, or?
Well, they're roughly the same size, but the class has been refitted to a better one. So yeah, that's the difference.
Ah, I see. I see.
So they probably took or refined other types of ore to build their new fleet, because the Death Star was so voluminous in terms of spending that it probably started to bankrupt the Empire when it was destroyed. So in my opinion, that's why they changed material, probably cheaper material.
Hey guys, I got an update on the.
Makes sense.
I've got an update on the cost of the Death Star.
Oh,
There you go. Check out the chat. That's according to Forbes, an article Forbes did, and allegedly Lehigh University did some research on it, and some of the stats are quite outstanding. It takes about like 833,000 years to build it. So.
What? Well, how would you say that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I had to put it in the chat.
that's
okay. This is an 852 with 15 zeros behind it.
Yeah.
That's 100. What's after trillion?
I don't know.
Well, okay, that's 852,000 $trillion. Sorry.
Is that
yes,
American currency, or is that in like
Yeah,
euros? Or
That's dollars.
I was gonna say, if that's yen, that wouldn't be so bad.
Oh, it would. What else does it say?
Oh my gosh, that's an expensive.
So could you imagine? Do you remember people made a petition to build a Death Star?
Yes, the White House
At
actually.
whitehouse.gov.
The White House did make a comment saying they are not going to build a Death Star. They felt it would not be cost effective.
It says here in this Forbes article, it says, firstly, the 2 billion Death Stars is... Firstly, the 2 billion Death Stars is mostly from Earth. Hang on, let me read this, sorry.
No problem. So,
Okay. So apparently there's 2 billion Death Stars, each costing 852
well,
However
with
many
15 zeros.
However many times I read it, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, today's rate of steel production, 1.3 billion tons would have to be made annually, and it would take 833,315 years to produce enough steel to begin work. So once someone notices what you're up to, you have to fend them off for 800 millennia before you have a chance to fight back.
Eek.
Yep.
You better have a pretty good standing army to defend that.
Yeah, well, that's according to our quote-unquote current technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is this based on the... Is that based on the technology that the public knows about?
Yeah. Yes. Of course. They will tell that we have interstellar capabilities, and some suggest that we are in a kind of Star Wars galaxy. Not the one, but I mean, we're like a backward planet. a you know a planet dust somewhere at the side, like in the outer rim
Yes,
where
I get you.
nobody's. Yeah,
You're saying that there's other planets that may be in like a sort of intergalactic empire or republic or to a
some kind of
Star Trek,
federation. Some.
Star Trek United Federation of Planets type thing.
In that we probably are under control
And that we're one of the lesser
of
ones
an
of the
evil
bunch.
empire or something, because we would have been contacted a long time ago if it was the case.
I'm sure we have been, and we just haven't been told.
Or we have been. Yeah. Maybe our sector's been left alone for too much time.
Doesn't it almost make you wish that Hillary Clinton had been elected? Because remember when she was campaigning, that was what she said. That was one of her first attempts at trying to win voters was, I'll release all the truth about extraterrestrials.
Yeah, like Bill Clinton did.
And didn't Putin say he was going to release that information too, with or without the U.S.'s cooperation? What's up with that? When are we going to get that?
I haven't heard about that.
Well, this was like 2 years ago. He had said that something along the lines of the time has come for the people of the world to know the truth, and the U.S. doesn't want the people to know the truth, but Russia's going to go forward with the announcement with or without the United States participation. And they kind of never really officially did.
No, they will. Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't heard of anything about that. If they did, it was really, 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 really subtle, or maybe they postpone it another time. But yeah, we'll know someday. Not in our lifetime.
Yeah, maybe it will be in our lifetime. Maybe as soon as the inauguration's over and old Trump is down there in Washington, maybe we'll hear Vladimir Putin come out, say something to the effect of, okay, the time has come. We're going to let you all know that we are under the control of
an evil
Lord,
empire.
Lord Darth Trump.
Yeah, or some evil entity like that. Yeah.
And unfortunately, if we try to resist, their moon-sized space station with a giant cannon in the side of it that's currently orbiting Saturn is...
Or orbiting Earth. We're talking about the moon here. Luna.
Well, that's true. Our moon is artificial, I believe, and a lot of evidence is there to support that belief.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it was Dabu 7 had said something to the effect of something hit the moon and it made a metallic sound as if it was hollow.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Which that got me thinking instantly, is the moon the Death Star?
Or
really...
some kind of station base that is monitoring the planet.
And also going around right now in literally all of the Star Wars Facebook-related group, the Star Wars-related groups on Facebook, is the moon. It's either Saturn or Jupiter, but one of them has a moon that you sent me a picture of the other day that looks exactly like the freaking Death Star.
It's a Saturn moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks... have you seen it? TMTT?
Yeah, I saw it. Was it not yesterday, the day before, I think.
That kind of makes you wonder, because there was 2 Death Stars in Star Wars. Could there be 2 Death Stars in our galaxy, our moon and Saturn's moon?
Maybe. By the way, the moon is called the Mimas moon.
Yes. I couldn't remember the name.
Mimas. Or Mimas.
Yeah.
Mimas.
Mimas.
Yeah, Mimas.
Which backwards is Sam-I-M.
Samim.
Sam,
I'm Sam.
I am Sam.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Which
Oh, wait, what did we just discover here? I think we just went down a whole different rabbit hole.
but yeah, that
man.
moon. I think it's probably the favorite moon of Star Wars fans so far.
It's got to be, because that huge crater looks exactly like the firing array on the Death Star. All that's missing is the trench around the equator.
Yeah. Or,
If it had that, I'd be sold on it completely. I mean, yep, that's the Death Star.
well, it's probably hidden, like in an artificial surface or something. You know, something like something that looks similar to a surface, like a moon surface, but it's not.
Makes you wonder. Could it be a synthetic surface or possibly just a hologram?
Well, probably that moon could be probably. Well, I said artificial. What I meant is that it's been you know put there artificially, but it's
Okay.
it's probably real.
It's no moon. It's a space station.
Yeah, but what I mean, yeah, it's real rock. Okay, it's a real surface, but it's been put there artificially, in my opinion. If you want to talk about a station, a hidden station.
That's pretty much my belief about our moon. I believe that at one time this planet had a moon, and I don't know what happened to that moon, but I think at some point the current moon that we see was put there
Was put there. Well, yeah.
by someone or something. Not necessarily the Galactic Empire, but then again, maybe it was. Maybe that's how they're keeping us in check. Make sure slaves don't find out that they're slaves.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would have been, like I said, being in contact with the exterior, with the outside world, say.
It almost makes you wonder, how much more hidden truth is there in the Star Wars saga? There's people on this planet that have unique abilities that not every human has, that you could almost attribute to similar to people in Star Wars with the Force. There's people like empaths, there's telepaths, there's there's people that can levitate things. Not everybody can. It's very rare to find, but they do exist. There are people that can do that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It makes you really wonder what else George Lucas knew or thought he knew or had access to when he was writing those original movies, when he first came up with the whole idea of the Jedi and the Force.
Yeah, well, he had ideas, but it's probably his writers that did all the work. But he's been inspired from somewhere that is unknown consciously, but subconsciously.
Maybe he's one of them
Like
gifted
data
ones.
encoded. Say what?
Said maybe he's one of the gifted ones.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he is, yeah.
You know,
Forgot about.
He's just expressed his through film and ideas in his head.
I could see that. I could see that. So here's a question for you guys. Who do you think would win in a legit non-rigged election between Hillary Clinton and Sheev Palpatine? And I only just thought of that because I just saw I just saw a meme scroll across my screen comparing Hillary Clinton to Palpatine and how they look alike when she's smiling and he's evil screaming. Just wondering, who would you rather have running your country or your planet or your galaxy?
I think I'd have to go for Hillary Clinton because at least she hasn't blown any planets up yet.
She hasn't blown any planets up, but she aided and abetted blowing up soldiers of the country she represented as Secretary of State.
That's true, but it's not a planet.
Yeah, but you give her control of the galaxy, what says she won't blow up a planet?
This is true.
Yeah, that would be hard to choose. Harder.
That would be harder than the election. Yeah, that would be harder than this year's election over here.
Well, the thing is, I think that Palpatine has more influence than Hillary Clinton. I mean,
I'm sure.
Well,
I don't think she could use. She has no force power. She can't use the force to manipulate your mind or your. I would hope. Oh no, actually no, she can't because she tried and failed miserably. So.
Paul Panda posted in chat a website that talks about ship size comparison. Comparison, sorry. And it's very interesting. I've seen this one before, and you can see how massive
Craig, share if you want.
these. Let me see here. I never shared before, so please bear with me.
Okay, it's top right hand corner of your screen, buddy. I think it's the 3 dots.
It is the 3 dots.
Mm-hmm.
All right then.
You go to those 3 dots. You click share screen.
Let's see here. All right. Let's see.
And while you're working that out, I'm just going to throw out a random fun fact for the peeps. Pretty much Paul Panda and Josie Wales at the moment, and anyone who may be watching this in the future. Just so you guys know, in case you see those pictures floating around Facebook and Twitter saying the Star Wars saga is racist because they gave Mace Windu a purple lightsaber.
You see my screen?
Samuel L. Jackson demanded a purple lightsaber. George Lucas fought him tooth and nail on it. And
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson specifically said, I want to do something different to stand out. Since I was one of like the most badass Jedis ever, right behind Yoda, give me a purple lightsaber. And for those who have heard the rumors, yes, his lightsaber did say bad motherfucker on the handle.
Are you serious?
Yes, it did, but it was written in the symbols of the Arabic language.
Okay. Arabic.
Yes, so it wasn't like written out in English, but it was in ancient symbolism. But still, it was there. It said it. It spelled that out right on the handle. That is a true story. For those of you who have heard the myths.
But do you think that the color was intentional in terms of Jedi and Sith lightsabers, combining the blue and the red?
The story that he told was he saw the scene of the massive battle of like 50 Jedi versus the what was it, the clones, I believe, and no, it was against the Separatists. Oh man, I'm losing it right now. I should have went back and watched the prequels, but where they were in the arena, and it was like 50 Jedi in this big battle against, and all these lightsabers going everywhere. And he says he was watching it after they filmed it initially, and kind of wanted to do something different to stand out, so he would know it was him. So he wanted the purple lightsaber because all the other Jedis had blue and green ones.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, he wanted
his
to stand
version.
out. Well, it makes sense. So yeah, you guys, are you seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, mate.
I am looking at that Super Star Destroyer in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
It
It's
makes a lot of sense now. That's the one that.
19 kilometers long.
Jeez. Okay, so in Return of the Jedi, that's the one that crashed into the Death Star.
Mhm.
Oh my god. And that
It-
thing looked like a micro machine compared to the Death Star in that movie.
Oh yeah. Like a arrowhead into planting into a apple. Yeah. Compared to the Imperial class destroyer, I mean this thing is huge.
I'm seeing ships here I've never even seen before.
Yeah, me too. It's probably from spin-offs and the like. And there's a ton of other ships from other shows and movies, which is
What
yeah,
is that thing?
this
Yeah, that
one?
right there. Yeah, what is that?
I think it's from the video game Eve.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Some more stuff here. I don't see Spaceball 1. You remember this one? Yeah, I know.
That was a very, very long ship.
Yeah,
Probably about the length of that Super Star Destroyer.
Anyways, this stuff
a-
screen sharing.
I like how they had the UNSC ship from the first Halo on there.
Yeah, the first Halo ship. Yeah.
Oh, I actually went ahead and clicked the link. I'm looking at that picture now. I didn't notice down at the very bottom, it looks like it has the giant saucer ship from Independence Day.
Yes, it is. And this one's 24 kilometers wide in terms of diameter, which is pretty huge.
Oh, I wonder if that's the mothership then, because I think the ones
That's not the mothership. The mothership is, according to the movie, a quarter the mass of the moon.
Oh, wow. I just know the ones that they sent down over the cities were supposedly 15 miles wide. So.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. And the Red Dwarf ship is 600 meters long.
600 meters?
Not 6,000, sorry.
I'm going to say.
As well to be like, yeah, that's not all that impressive.
I'm thinking now, I'm sure it's bigger than that.
By the way, for the Starship size comparison chart, shout out to Dirk Lochel for compiling all of these ship comparison with their size, and the names, and all that.
To give the people an idea, the Borg cube from Star Trek: The Next Generation is about 1/10 the length of a Super Star Destroyer. My God.
Yeah, it makes sense. But there's 2 types of cube, which is the tactical cube and the command cube.
I never realized that.
Yeah. So yeah, the Executor class Super Star Destroyer is it's massive. It's like a city on the ship, literally.
Yeah, it is. I never realized it was that huge. I mean, I knew it had to be big just to do that much damage when it plowed into the side of the Death Star, but wow, that's a very, very big ship. Very big.
I wonder
Kind of.
why they. I wonder why they would use such big ships for missions. It's probably a mobile command center for fleets and all that.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It,
I
it,
mean,
like I know that Imperial One class starships are capital ships, so because they contain everything from stormtroopers division to TIE fighters, AT-ATs.
I will now
All that.
confess I may have sounded a little distracted for the past few minutes because I am in awe still looking at this image that Creeks was just showing a minute ago, and it does in fact have Spaceball 1 on it. It's
Yes,
11,000 meters.
Wow.
And I'm looking at that compared to some of these other ships, and as it looks so long in the opening scene of Spaceballs, and now I'm
yeah,
looking at it and it's like, wow, that thing's tiny.
yeah. You
Next to a
couldn't.
superstar destroyer, it's
Yeah,
not all that.
for the superstar destroyed would be an entire movie. I mean, strolling at such a slow pace, it would take hours.
This is actually a really cool graphic. It has all the ships
Oh,
from
yeah.
BattleTech. I mean, I haven't even heard anybody mention BattleTech since I was a little kid,
Yeah, me too.
and we're going way back there.
You mean Robotech?
No, I mean BattleTech. Very similar, but a little different. Along the same lines.
Okay.
Giant, like 8-story tall battle mechs. There was the what was it? The Inner Sphere.
Not familiar with that.
Oh, they actually had made it. It was a Dungeons and Dragons type role playing game
Okay.
where you basically had giant battle robots that was your was your thing you were controlling instead of just a person walking through a dungeon. You were fighting with giant battle robots using dice like in Dungeons and Dragons. But they had actually made it into a children's cartoon when I was younger. And they went into the story of one of the clans from it and the story of the Inner Sphere, and it was kind of interesting. And I haven't met very many people who actually remember it. So I just think that's really cool that that's on here because not too many people even know that that ever existed. Unless they're super sci-fi. I don't want to say sci-fi nerds, but I was a BattleTech nerd, I'll admit that.
Okay, that's cool. I'm already Robotech, commonly known as Macross. Macross.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Paul Panna in the chat shared a link about an image that I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he says that it looks like Endor, and I'm gonna share my screen. Here. Check this out.
Whoa, that really does look like Endor.
Ah, cool.
I wonder if that's where they filmed it.
Do you see the person right here?
Yeah, I can see.
I don't know if it's the size of the trees or because she's
Ooh.
really far.
Oh wow. Jesus.
I would live. I would camp there. Sure.
That looks awesome.
You can
Yeah.
barely make out the person next to that tree. If it wasn't for the blue
Yeah.
shirt, you wouldn't even be able to tell it was a person.
Yeah. Exactly. Trying to zoom in, but I can't. Well, if I do that. There you go. Right here. Oh, that's I think it's a child. I think it's tiny.
Wow.
Very beautiful sight.
I would definitely go there, and I would go there dressed as a stormtrooper.
Yeah, like these kind of Dungeons and Dragons, but playing the role in real life. I mean, I don't know the term of it, but it's like role playing in a Dungeons and Dragons style Star Wars game.
See, I would play that. I would definitely play that.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful picture, Mr. Panda. Paul.
Oh.
Really interesting picture.
At some point, we're going to throw out our theories on who Supreme Leader Snoke is going to be and revealed to be in the upcoming episode. But real quick, this has been an ongoing debate between me and TMTT as of late.
I see.
That is the debate of Rey or Jin. And I don't know. There's just something.
Rey or Finn, you mean? Oh, Jin, the
Jin from Rogue One.
From Rogue One, yeah. I haven't seen it. That's why.
And honestly,
that's why we've not included you.
I honestly think the only thing Rey has on Jin is she's able to use the Force. But Jin is like your simple badass girl next door who can go kick some ass like a normal human being, and just the badassness that I gotta give it to Jin.
I don't know. No, because Ray's same. She kicked shit out of them two in Marketplace when they were trying to take BB-8, and also when the other guy was trying to take BB-8 as well. That really a little thing, I got to admit, I can't remember the name of it, on that mechanical horse in Force Awakens. Can't remember.
Well, yeah. She did her fair share of things.
And she went toe to toe with.
I don't know.
And she went toe to toe with. Oh gosh, I'm terrible with characters' names. I really am.
Kylo Ren.
That's the one.
See, that's one of the things that really bothered me about The Force Awakens. You had. Okay, actually, I have some details for this one. Let me go ahead and pull these up real quick so I have all my notes here laid out in front of me on this one so I don't misspeak or misquote my facts here. We're going to get this right and accurate. Because just in case, and if my buddy Ryan happens to be listening now live or later down the road, he'll appreciate this. Ryan, this one's for you, buddy. I got your back on this one. Let's start with Qui-Gon Jinn. He was a Jedi Master, and he was killed by Sith assassin Darth Maul. Then you had Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Padawan Anakin Skywalker. They both got their asses kicked by Count Dooku. 3 years later, now that he's a Jedi Master, Kenobi once again got his ass kicked by Count Dooku. Sith Lord Darth Sidious, a.k.a. the Senate, he killed 3 Jedi Masters in under 5 seconds. Luke Skywalker started training with Obi-Wan Kenobi, finished his training with Yoda, possibly the greatest Jedi Master of all time. and he got friggin' destroyed by Darth Vader and got his hand cut off. Then you have Rey. Rey, who had no training whatsoever. She knew about the Force for less than 24 hours, and she was able to beat Kylo Ren, who was a dark side user of the Force, apparently trained by Supreme Leader Snoke, who's of the bloodline Skywalker, and just, I don't buy it. I really don't. That's my biggest beef with Episode 7.
Well, you know, when the Force is strong, 24 hours or not. I'm sure it were a bit longer than that, mate.
Okay, 48 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, well, she did realise on the ship, though, didn't she, that she had something. And then in the
Yeah, but it's
fight,
like
in the fight as well, she realised that she had the power of the Force, and remembered that she had the power of the Force, and finished the fight off.
Well, you're talking about Jedi Masters with years of lightsaber training, and then Rey had never even seen a lightsaber in real life until she picked up Luke's, and then within 12 to 24 hours of that, she's going toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren, who's of the bloodline Skywalker and trained by a Sith Lord.
But she's always dreamed to be a Jedi, though, hasn't she? Or certainly part of it.
She
hat
did.
When she sat eating a tea at a dinner, the hat that she wears has got a lot of reference, and it's an old rebel hat helmet.
This is true.
So maybe she's.
But I'll give her some credit. I do like the idea of making the fallen AT-AT into her little personal apartment. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
Yeah, and I wonder what happened to Jakku. Is that Jakku? Yeah, the planet.
That's a good question.
I mean, what happened there? Seriously, because I think that had to do with her.
I think she got left there, didn't she? She had a premonition.
She got left there. She probably was aboard a Star Destroyer or something.
She has a.
I mean,
she has a flashback dream when she touches Luke's lightsaber, and it shows her.
Yeah, I think that she was force sensitive on that, and she has definitely genetic markers in her body that triggers things. She's probably able to unlock certain visions on certain objects that has been pre-programmed. Like you touch, I don't know, a pencil, and it gives you the story of the entire pencil.
So
How
she
was it made on that?
that's almost like Chosen One level abilities.
Yes. It's been speculated that she's the continuity of the Chosen One, which I think will never be able to succeed because the Chosen One is here to bring balance to the Force and not the other way around.
Well, didn't Anakin bring balance to the Force? Because I could argue that he did.
He did because there was too many Jedis, and
There was
you know what I'm
about
saying?
there was about 400 Jedis and 2 Sith Lords.
That's
Enter
what
Anakin Skywalker. Once
That's
he's
what
done,
happened.
there was 2 Jedis and 2 Sith Lords for quite a while. I call that perfect balance. Yeah, there's some sarcasm there, but
And I think that the reincarnation of the Chosen One has been chosen via a certain bloodline that is force sensitive. And speaking of force sensitive, what's your take on Finn?
What's my take on what?
Finn. I mean,
Ah.
why would he be force sensitive? Being born from someone and being trained all his life to be a stormtrooper. What's up with that? How come Kylo Ren was able to feel the force within him?
That's a good question.
And how come he's been called a traitor all the time?
And how did he have the skills he had with a lightsaber? Because you would think a standard stormtrooper going up against Kylo Ren would have been hacked down in seconds.
And that's what I think. I think that there's going to be a clash between the dark side and the light side, between Rey being from the dark side and Finn being from the light side, because Finn woke up, like the Force awakened in him, but in a good way, because he was sick and tired of violence and fighting.
That makes sense, because that would explain the look on Luke's face at the end when he sees Rey, because he almost had that look like, "Why are you here? Oh no, I don't want to deal with this." Like,
no, I mean, not that. I mean, I think that Rey was meant to be on the dark side, and Luke knew about it.
What was it? Anger, emotion. Basically, emotion was basically your path to the dark side. And one thing Rey's shown in The Force Awakens is she can get pretty damn emotional.
Yes, she is. And she was prepped on a desert planet to suffer. To be all alone and trying to survive each day, every day. Scrapes, and she wasn't really loved by anyone, in my opinion. She was struggling all the time. I mean,
to an extent, her upbringing or the environment she grew up in is somewhat reminiscent of Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, and that leads to theories that it's a scrapped script from the original New Hope.
Yeah, but at least Luke had people around him, where she didn't.
So that's what I'm saying, that she was more prone to be on the dark side, because like Yoda said, fear is the path to the dark side, because fear leads to anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering.
That makes sense. That would make sense, because Luke had people around him, and he was able to overcome the emotions and the fear and the anger and the hate, whereas Anakin was basically a slave child, and over time he let his emotions consume him and take over, and he gave in to the dark side.
So that's why I think she's being left alone, because she's so powerful that they decided to, quarantine her, for her to be able to, exercise her powers, because they know that she's a Darksider. Genetically, yeah.
I could see that.
Oh wow! So then we go down the road of who's her parents then.
It's still a mystery, but if you listen to The Force Awakens,
Daisy Ridley says that this is coming straight from the actress. Daisy Ridley says there is enough evidence in Episode 7 that people should already know who Rey's parents are. That's the direct quote from Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
So I still, like, it could be, she could be a Skywalker, she could be a Kenobi, she could be a Palpatine, she could be, like, okay, she says the evidence is there, but it's so. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want her to be Luke Skywalker's daughter because it's
No.
too obvious. It's the
Too
most
obvious.
Yeah, I don't want him to do that. I want it to be something
It can't be Luke's.
that'll shock people.
I suppose it could.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know where he went after Return of the Jedi.
No, this is true.
For all we know, after Return of the Jedi, oh shit! I just took down the Empire. I took part in blowing up the second Death Star. I took down the most evil man in the galaxy. I'm gonna go celebrate and get me 6 hookers. Who knows what Luke did after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
All we know is that 20 years later, he's on some planet out in the middle of nowhere.
On an island, looking at people describing him looking at a grave or some kind of because he was staring at a stone, kind of protruding stone, and people are speculating that it's a grave, an actual grave, but from who? That's still a mystery.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again, even though I watched that movie early this morning.
Oh, wow. How many times so far?
Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw it midnight the night it came out in theaters. I guess I watched the bootleg maybe 2 or 3 times after that. I own it on Xbox. So, it's crazy. That movie's been out for, a little over a year now. And I've watched it less than I've watched Rogue One, which has been out for a month. Maybe 10 times total. Rogue One I've watched over 20. But that's just because The Force Awakens kind of was a bit of a letdown because I expected it to be so much more, and really to me it felt like they just took the original Star Wars trilogy, changed the names, changed the faces, and just rehashed the same story. Whereas Rogue One was totally something different that we had never seen before.
Yeah, different format.
It was an adult movie. It was a violent, graphic war movie that took place in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, it's not a space opera per se.
It kind of it's just not marketed. It's not. You don't have your little happy Ewoks, your cute little teddy bears running around, marketed toward children. Your Jar Jar Binks comic relief. This is definitely not a movie that was made for the little kids. This movie was made for grown-ups. This was a war movie.
Excuse me, Jar Jar Binks does make an appearance, doesn't he?
He's okay. Well, for people who haven't noticed,
it's a Gungan.
It's a Gungan. Is that what you're going on? It's a Gungan.
It might not be Jar Jar Binks.
It's not my boy.
It's not your boy.
Okay, he's standing there in the background for a split second, so far in the background, if you don't use a magnifying glass, you can't even see him as they're walking out of a hangar.
I don't care.
If you're watching the movie, you don't even see it.
It's a cameo.
It's a cameo because he's still a representative of Naboo on Coruscant.
Which I think was a huge mistake on the part of Naboo, my opinion.
Yeah.
But I also think Jar Jar's a Sith Lord, and all the Star Wars from the beginning were his fault. So
that would make my day.
He wasn't just some bumbling idiot stumbling around the battlefield. It's called the drunken monkey technique.
Yep, exactly. Oh, if somebody could do me a Sith Lord Jar Jar, that would be ace.
Yeah, Jar Jar being a Sith Lord, it's been floating around for quite a while.
That would
Makes you wonder, could he be Snoke?
Oh, yeah.
What,
Yes,
somebody's cut his
let
nose
me-
off.
Well, let me
Oh,
remind you that
he-
Snoke is a
he'd be a lot
projection
He would
from
be
an
a lot
holocron.
older. And also keep in mind that the last time we saw Jar Jar would have been episode 3, which was, what, how many years before A New Hope?
Yeah, it's 20 years, I think.
20 years, yeah.
And then you figure about 5 to 10 years go by through the original trilogy, and episode 7 was, I believe, 20 years after Return of the Jedi. Who knows what time could have done to him? His ears fell off, his face shrunk up, he's all shriveled up now, been through
Maybe.
a few battles. Maybe Jar Jar is Snoke.
Yeah, but when it comes to beings like that, can you really judge time on it? Look at Yoda, thousands of years old. Look at her in Force Awakens, that little orange thing.
I'm screen sharing this for you, Des, over a TMTT. My fault.
Sorry, mate.
Mhm.
Habit.
It's cool, but it. Yeah. There he is. See, how can you say he's Snoke?
Well, maybe.
There you go. I like this one. This is the best one right here.
Yeah,
Wow.
he looks mean on that. But yeah, maybe
evil.
maybe he can use the Force, but he's not aware of it and untrained, just like Han Solo, I guess.
Possibly. I doubt we'll see him again.
But people were talking about Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord because of how the Kylo Ren's mask is shaped up. Like,
Were they trying to imply? Oh my God! Are you seeing this?
yeah, I do.
Oh my God!
What a twist!
That would be a twist.
It's a
Me, Sith.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But,
can't look at that anymore. That's scary.
At one point, anything is possible in Star Wars. There's so many things that have not been told yet. There's so many characters with some background that could be developed into
And-
interesting stories.
And Disney is changing what's canon and what's not on a whim, so they could pretty much make anything possible.
Yeah, well, they did.
It could be Padme. I bet you Padme Amidala is Supreme Leader Snoke, back from the dead.
But,
That'll explain why she
Palpatine
looks like
wasn't.
That'll explain why she looks like
Palpatine
she
wasn't lying.
does.
Well, yeah, Palpatine wasn't lying. He said the dark side could save her. He didn't say she would look the same, but he brought her back from the dead, and this is what she is now.
Did he actually say her, or did he just say stop people from dying?
stop people from dying.
He didn't say necessarily her, did he?
Well, I believe he said something to the effect of, "Do you want to save Padme?" or "You could save Padme." But then he also, at the end of episode 3, he convinced Anakin that Anakin had snapped out and killed Padme. So,
Yep.
I wonder why. Yeah, he would have done that because he was telling Anakin that with Sith, powers, he would be able to prevent her death.
yes, that's what it was.
Or probably by, literally, save her from dying. But
But we haven't seen all the things that the Force can do. There's other Force powers just that are still considered canon that haven't been shown in any of the movies. So how do we know that somebody who's strong enough with the Force, like a Yoda level or a Palpatine level, might be able to resurrect the dead? Which there's also a popular theory on that note going around the internet that the Knights of Ren are actually the Rogue One people.
Oh, really?
So the internet says.
So the internet says, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a part in Rogue One I actually want to talk about. So yeah, Krieg's hurry up.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, Brian. In the
Yes.
scene in the alleyway where he just pulls out a gun and shoots the guy in the back,
Yes.
did you not find that kind of strange for the person he was?
I did not, and here's why. This is the early stages of the rebellion. At that point, it would be... At that stage of the rebellion would be like, let's say the UN rolls out Agenda 21, and people like us are fighting back against it. We're going to do what we got to do. There's going to be assassins. There's going to be saboteurs. There's going to be, in a situation like that where this guy is possibly going to pose a risk to your faction because he's freaking out and he might expose something. You don't know what he's going to do. You got to tie up your loose ends. I can understand that.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Cheers.
Given the context that it happened in, at that time frame before A New Hope, when the Empire is just really growing after Episode 3 and just everything going down, that city is under imperial martial law, basically.
Yeah.
And this guy is, kind of playing both sides. Yeah, I could understand that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that I could see. Personally, I think it'd be freaking awesome if Jyn Erso was one of the Knights of Ren, because one movie is not enough for Jyn Erso.
It's a possibility because there's no, you cannot really identify anyone from the Knights of Ren.
No, that's...
They're all dressed in black and all that.
That, and I want to see. Oh God, what was his? What the hell was Donnie Yen's character? How do you say it? Chirrut Imwe? The blind Asian guy who's a martial arts expert.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Well, Donnie Yen is a great martial artist.
He's a
Oh my God!
great actor.
I want to
as well.
see him come back. I would love if he was one of the Knights of Ren. I would be terrified of the Knights of Ren.
Well, yeah, if he was a knight with a lightsaber, it would be interesting to see a fight between him and Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a martial artist as well.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He did all his own stunts.
Well, the actor, yes, but as a character.
Oh, the character. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what you're saying. Yes. Which there's also a pretty popular theory that Darth Maul is General Snoke, which I don't see that considering he was lopped in half. But
Yeah, well, in the non-canon universe, he survived, and his from the base of his pelvis to its feet is like prosthetics, like robotic prosthetics, where you can walk around all that. But I don't think that it was a good idea to make him survive like this. But... And by the way, I think the stream is lagging a little. Is it me?
no, it has been on and off. lagging at moments. I've been checking back and forth on it too. But I've had two theories on Snoke that I think I've been a supporter of the Snoke is Mace Windu theory, and
Yeah.
because when Mace Windu died, well, before he died, we don't know that he died. We never physically saw his body hit the ground. We never saw a corpse. But when he was getting torched with Force lightning, and I believe it was me and Kriegsvolk one night stopped and analyzed this, going super slow motion through that scene and pulling up pictures of Snoke. The scars on Snoke's head and face perfectly match where the lightning was shredding Mace Windu's head and face. Same exact scars.
Mind you that they are both bald. Well, that's one detail right here.
And before anyone says that the face doesn't look right, or Palpatine, after he got hit with Force lightning in the face, his face didn't look anything like it did beforehand either. So I've been a supporter of that. The only doubt I have is someone pointed out to me actually about 2 hours before we went on air here that Mace Windu had one of his hands chopped off, and Snoke is seen with two hands. But that could be a prosthetic. We've seen plenty of Star Wars characters get hands chopped off, and none of them have died from it.
Nope.
Not one of them has ever died from having their hand chopped off in any Star Wars movie.
Nope.
So,
and when Mace Windu was propelled from the building window, he could have survived that because if you've seen in episode 2 when they're chasing that assassin, you remember?
yes.
Okay, like you could see Anakin or Obi-Wan just jumping off the car and like dropping like miles wide long, drops to catch the actual car they were chasing. Like they were dropping mad without any injuries.
Same with Luke at the end of New Hope.
Yes.
He fell down that shaft, didn't he? After he'd had his hand cut off.
Empire Strikes Back.
That's
sorry.
Empire Strikes Back.
Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
No.
And he used the Force to, get sucked into that kind of conduct that led to the outside.
I think the only thing we can safely say at this point is it's not Palpatine, because he got thrown into the central reactor of the second Death Star shortly before that station was blown to crap. But I mean, I still think it's Mace Windu. I think it's Mace Windu.
I think
But
so.
I do think it would be funny, as I said to Kriegsvolk and TMTT right before we went on the air, I want to see them really screw with everybody's minds and go totally left field and say Snoke is Yoda. That would redeem Disney for episode 7.
That's far stretch.
But it would be, to think about, nobody would see that coming, because Snoke's like 8 feet tall and he looks nothing like Yoda.
That's a hologram.
I still want to know how Kylo Ren gets Darth Vader's mask.
I'm curious about that too.
Yeah, that's a good question.
'Cause
Where
somebody
did he got the mask?
Somebody must have been at that funeral for him to get that mask.
Well, I know that
Luke was.
Luke was, and he probably gave the mask to Kylo.
Or Kylo stole it from him when he turned.
Yeah, but Luke definitely got the mask back from the cremation.
Because I know the story is more or less after Jedi, Luke became the Grandmaster Jedi and tried to start a new temple and train a new generation before Kylo turned and killed most of them. Not all of them, most of them, which again makes you wonder Rey's bloodline, but Rey may have had some training when she was younger, but wouldn't she remember that?
So wouldn't that then suggest that Snoke would have known Kylo as he was growing up, able to
Quite possibly.
able to turn him? So that would still. Sorry, Kriegs, to question you. I don't mean it in an offensive type of way, but where have you got your evidence that Luke took the mask?
It's speculation.
It's just speculation.
It's speculation.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I mean, there's no evidence about that, and there's no evidence about who took the mask.
It'd be interesting to see who was in that scene, in that funeral scene with Vader. Maybe we could do that next week.
It was just Luke. It was just Luke burning the corpse.
It wasn't Leia were there as well, and I'm sure
no,
a couple of others.
Leia was. No, they were all back at the Ewoks village getting ready for the party. Because they showed it was just Luke by himself burning Vader's body, and then he went back and they had the celebration and the credits rolled. So it would have to be somebody though who was either there that night on Endor or somebody who knew where that mask finally came to rest, unless Luke took it with him or somebody there took it with them.
That's my theory. That somebody took the mask before it was
because what we do know, Snoke said that he had seen the Empire rise and fall, meaning he was there before Palpatine became High Chancellor. A lot of people say he's Count Dooku. I have my doubts on that, but again, it could be the face. That's one of the main reasons I doubt it. But the face, the shape, I could see it. There's people that say it's General Tarkin, even though he blew up on the first Death Star and was never one with the Force that we know of.
Yeah, but there's no whereabouts about what really happened before the Death Star blown up.
Well, we see him standing on the bridge saying, "You may fire when ready." They commence primary ignition. He's standing there stroking his chin, and the station explodes. So you have to assume that he blew up on the bridge of the Death Star.
You would assume that the bridge would be after the engines would be the main parts of the ship being reinforced in case of emergencies.
You would assume that, but we learned in Return of the Jedi with the Super Star Destroyer that the bridge isn't always that well reinforced, because that A-Wing fighter flew right through, crashed into it, and a few seconds later, that Star Destroyer crashed into the Death Star.
Yeah, which confirmed what I was talking about. When the first Death Star exploded, the Empire was bankrupt, so they had to use cheaper materials, which would explain why the color is different.
And why that Star Destroyer was able to do so much damage when it crashed into it.
Yeah.
It almost seems like the way, now that I see how huge that Super Star Destroyer actually was, thanks to that graphic earlier, it almost seems like the torpedoes that the Falcon and those few X-Wings that flew into the reactor, it almost seemed like that was just a waste at that point. It wasn't even necessary. That thing was going to go up as it was just from being hit by that Star Destroyer. But I guess better safe than sorry.
So yeah, Snoke is either, according to what we're talking about, is either Mace Windu, Yoda, uh, Padme
I want to see.
Amidala,
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to see it be Padme.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Uh, it's some people say that it's Darth Vader,
Count Dooku,
Count Dooku,
Darth Maul,
Palpatine.
What about Qui-Gon Jinn?
Qui-Gon Jinn. Well, he was stabbed, but I mean, how? I mean, he's a Jedi Master.
Yeah,
and he's been stabbed like.
And he was kind of neutral. He wasn't like devout light side Jedi. He went against the Council on quite a few things.
Yeah, just like Mace Windu. Yeah.
So that would be an interesting twist. He was there before the Empire.
And some say that Qui-Gon Jinn was a secret Sith mastermind. He was. Do you remember the midichlorian test that he did on Anakin Skywalker?
Oh God, I never want to hear that word again. But yes, I really hope they never bring that back up in any future movie.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I think that he gave the results to the Council and to Palpatine to confirm that he's the one.
I could see that.
He's probably a double agent, as far as we know.
I could see that. That'd be interesting.
And Qui-Gon insisted that Anakin had to be trained by him. He really wanted to train the kid.
Despite the Council not wanting him to be trained, he went against their wishes pretty much on that one.
Yeah.
And here's why I think, real quick before we wrap it up, because we've been going for a really long time. It took us a while to get going, but as we said, this is episode 1, a new beginning. So it took us a while to find our feet, but eventually we found it. But I just want to throw out some information on Qui-Gon Jinn, because people might not even remember him, because the Phantom Menace is hailed by many as the worst Star Wars movie ever made.
Star Wars special, Christmas special.
I don't count that as a movie.
I think it's canon.
Are you kidding me?
It was directed by George Lucas, right?
I hope not.
And Lucas regretted it.
I bet he did. Here you go.
And
here you go. This is from Reddit. This is fan theories on Qui-Gon Jinn. What do we know about Qui-Gon Jinn? He was an apprentice of Count Dooku. His first apprentice, Xanatos, fell to the dark side. He went behind the back of the Jedi Order and the Republic to create the Clone Army, which would later destroy the Jedi completely and become the backbone of the Galactic Empire. He pushed the Jedi in accepting to train Anakin, despite the fact he knew him better than many and knew he had much anger within him and much reason to be angry. His actions throughout Episode 1 led to the Jedi's involvement in the Federation War and the escalation of the Civil War. And then it says, now let us look at a few more details in depth. That's a typo. Okay, Force Ghost. Contrary to misconception, the Force Ghost is a concept of the Sith, not the Jedi. It originated with the Sith Lords rather than the Jedi Order. The Jedi by nature have always had much more accepting view of death, while the Sith have been known to seek to cheat death. Throughout the series, we have only seen 3 people appear as a Force Ghost in the film series: Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin. We know Obi-Wan learned the Force Ghost from Qui-Gon. which is mentioned directly. So we know that Qui-Gon knows it. We can assume that Yoda learned it from Obi-Wan. Where did Anakin learn it from? He did not learn it from the Jedi when he was a Jedi. He did not have time after his return to the light side to learn it. Thus, we must infer he learned it during his period in the dark side. But from whom? Palpatine mentions to Anakin that he learned from Darth Plagueis the ability to forego death. Could it be he was referring to Force Ghost or a related concept? Could it be Anakin learned how to Force Ghost from Palpatine? But then, where did Qui-Gon learn it from? As no other Jedi, including many much more senior than him, knew of Force Ghost. And considering that it is a Sith concept rather than a Jedi one, the best possible explanation is that Qui-Gon learnt it from Sith contacts. Then it mentions, edit, this part is Qui-Gon's role in the galactic conflict, and then says under that, edit, this part is wrong. So we're going to skip that part completely, if it's admitting to be wrong. Then it has this huge section on Qui-Gon's relations to the dark side. Now, it goes a little bit into the expanded universe, which we know is pretty much thrown out the window by Disney, but I don't know. If Qui-Gon was a Sith or a double agent or anything to that effect, it's possible he could be a reasonable theory that he could be Snoke. So I'm just throwing that out there.
But you were right about being a Padawan under Count Dooku. You're correct.
Yep, because Count Dooku was once a Jedi.
Once. So that's pretty much what we wanted to talk about, I guess.
Yep.
Or
Carry on next
And
week.
Yep. And by next week, Kriegs will have seen Rogue One, so we won't have to tread as lightly.
No, of course.
Must admit, I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah,
So am I.
it was interesting, and it went by real fast. And thanks to our viewers, Mr. Josie Wales and Mr. Paul Panda, which shared some interesting pictures, especially from beach forests in, with its redwoods in Victoria, Australia.
That really looks like Endor.
It looks exactly like Andor.
I'd like to go there.
It would be a great tourist attraction for Star Wars fans. Definitely.
If they built like an Ewok village in those treetops...
Forget it. I mean, the Australian economy would explode. Just like New Zealand's Hobbit village.
Call it like the Ewok Hotel or the Endor Hotel.
That and the Tunisian site where they filmed A New Hope on the Tatooine Seas.
That I'd love to go see.
So yeah, I think that we're going to wrap this up right now.
Yeah, this is last call at the cantina. Last call.
Last call. Switch has been turned on. The lights are.
You know we're getting ready to close because we turned off the droid detector at the front door.
Yep, thanks for everybody for watching our first episode. I hope to see you again next week. Same time. Is it 4 p.m., Brian?
Tell your 4 p.m. Eastern, 5 middle of the ocean, 9 if you live in England.
But yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern time.
And next week it'll go a little more smoothly now that we kind of found our rhythm. It only took us like an hour and a half to do it.
No, I don't even think it took us an hour.
That's true. Yeah. We started hitting some good points after about an hour.
Right, right. No, I think that we've been constant with the subject about everything Star Wars. I think it went well.
Yep.
And so this week was episode 1, A New Beginning. Next week,
Yes.
the Round Table strikes back.
That's a good one.
Tell your friends, share, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good stuff.
We are planning on, well, I'm hoping to have more interaction with the chat as well as we start growing a bit.
Yeah, I got to get used to looking at the chat again because I'm sitting here with like 8 windows open.
It's for everybody to chip in and have their voice and opinion.
Absolutely. We'll have in future episodes we will have some guests joining us at the table here. Some surprises here and there.
Star Wars fan.
Yep.
Star Wars fans.
Yes, we have several
That's what
Star
to say.
Wars fans. We have several mutual friends who
That
are Star
we know.
Wars fans
Oh yeah.
that may be able to add some good input and some enjoyable fun times.